Hello, friend. If you're watching this, chances are you've begun to feel the quiet shifts in your body, the ones that don't happen all at once but show up slowly like a soft whisper. Your knees aching a bit more on the stairs, your hands pushing harder just to get out of a chair, your heart beating a little faster after a short walk to the kitchen. Have you ever felt that way? If yes, you're not alone. Over the past 30 years of practicing medicine with older adults, I've sat across from hundreds of people, teachers, mechanics, retired nurses, veterans, parents, who all tell me, quietly and somewhat ashamed, "Doc, I just don't feel strong anymore." And I ask them a simple question: are you eating just to fill your stomach or to nourish your strength? Because the truth is this: after 60, strength doesn't just come from the gym. It comes from the ground up, from what you feed your muscles, your bones, and your nerves. And sometimes that strength begins with a single spoonful of seeds. Spoon one small spoonful, one big difference. I remember one of my patients, Grace, 78 years old, a retired elementary school teacher with kind eyes and a gentle laugh. She came to me frustrated, leaning hard on her cane. "I can't get up from my chair without gripping the table," she said. "It scares me." We started small. I suggested she add two simple things to her breakfast every morning: a spoonful of hemp seeds, a small scoop of moringa powder. No dramatic diet, no pills, just two quiet additions. 3 weeks later, she came back with a different story. "Doctor," she said with tears in her eyes, "I stood up from the chair this morning without using my hands." That's what I call a miracle made from small things. These are not just foods, they are quiet warriors. In the world of aging, we often focus on what we've lost: muscle, balance, energy. But we forget what's still possible. These 5 foods, quinoa, moringa, hemp seed, tofu, and sacha inchai, are not exotic solutions. They're everyday heroes loaded with the exact tools your body needs to rebuild itself, bit by bit, spoon by spoon. Let's take quinoa, for example. A tiny seed, no bigger than a grain of sand, but packed with complete protein and a rare amino acid called lysine, which most grains lack. Lysine is crucial for muscle repair and rebuilding. Without it, your muscles wither like dry leaves. With it, they thrive. The story of Walter and the morning walk that came back. Walter, 82, used to be an airplane mechanic. Sharp, steady hands. But over the years, his legs began to betray him. He said he felt like walking was no longer something he could trust. I asked him to try a new habit. Each morning, he ate a warm bowl of quinoa cooked in almond milk, topped with spinach, a drizzle of olive oil, and a pinch of sea salt. That was it. 6 weeks later, Walter was back on his feet, literally. "I walked the entire loop of the park," he told me, "without needing to sit down once." It wasn't magic, it was consistency. Herb moringa, more than a powder, a lifeline. Moringa is often called the tree of life in many parts of the world, and for good reason. It's rich in protein, iron, calcium, and vitamins A, C, and K, but what I love most about moringa is that it brings quiet vitality. It doesn't make your heart race. It doesn't give you a sugar rush. It simply supports what's already inside you, the ability to recover, repair, and renew. One of my favorite combinations: a smoothie of banana, almond milk, a teaspoon of moringa, and a dash of flaxseed oil. Perfect in the morning. Easy to digest, powerful over time. Fork tofu, the underdog of strength. Tofu is often overlooked. People say it's bland, too soft. Not for me, they say, but here's what they don't realize. Tofu gives you 8 grams of complete protein per 100 grams, plus calcium and iron in a form that's easy on aging digestion. Even more, it contains isoflavones, plant compounds that protect the heart, bones, and even help regulate hormones. I had a patient once, Mr. Harold, 81, living alone, not fond of cooking. I showed him how to slice firm tofu, toss it with olive oil, garlic powder, and a little soy sauce, and roast it in the oven until crisp on the outside. "I didn't know tofu could taste this good," he said, "and I don't feel so heavy afterward." That's the beauty of tofu. It feeds your muscles, supports your heart, and doesn't burden your body. Peanut sacha inchai, the Inca peanut that heals from within. This tiny seed from the Andes, sacha inchai, is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, even more than salmon, and it's perfect for those who prefer plant-based solutions. It reduces joint inflammation, supports nerve function, and improves balance and mood. I once recommended it to a retired ballerina who suffered from aching joints and insomnia. A handful of roasted sacha inchai before bed, and after a month she said, "I feel like my joints are whispering thank you." It's not about perfection, it's about gentle restoration. Person, female, every bite you take is a quiet act of self-respect. Let me say this plainly, after 60, your body still wants to heal. It's still trying, it hasn't given up on you. Maybe all it needs is for you not to give up on it. Each spoonful of hemp seed, each cube of tofu, each sprinkle of moringa, you're not just feeding your muscles, you're feeding your balance, your independence, your dignity. Read a gentle reminder from me to you. I tell all my patients this. You don't have to overhaul your life, you just have to start small and stay steady. Don't underestimate the power of one small choice repeated daily. A spoonful of seeds, a bowl of quinoa, a glass of green smoothie, that's not just a meal, that's a message to your future self. I still care, I still want to move freely, I still want to live fully. I want you to imagine something for me. It's early morning. You step out the door for a gentle walk. The breeze is light, your feet feel grounded, and there's no pain in your knees, no hesitation in your balance. You're not gripping the railing or looking down nervously. You're just walking, freely, confidently. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But for many of my patients in their 70s and 80s, walking without fear is a dream. A dream that often starts with something as small as a seed. Let me tell you about one of my favorite unsung heroes, Sacha Inchai, Snow, a legacy from the Andes. Sacha Inchai, also called the Inca peanut, just a trendy health food. It's been around for centuries. Ancient Peruvian warriors used to eat it before long marches. Why? Because it gave them sustained strength, joint support, and endurance. And now, thousands of years later, it's doing the same for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. I like to call it gold for aging legs. Flexed biceps, Joan's story, from shaky steps to steady mornings. Let me introduce you to Joan, 74 years old. She was a retired civil engineer, sharp mind, proud posture, fiercely independent. But over time, her legs began to tremble. She didn't trust her balance anymore, and after a small fall in the kitchen, she started holding onto furniture just to walk from room to room. When she came to me, I didn't prescribe anything fancy. We started with food. I had her add one simple thing to her breakfast, a spoonful of sacha inchai seeds lightly roasted. No pills, no protein powders, just that. After 6 weeks, she walked into my office without her usual hesitation. "For the first time in months," she said, "I walked down my hallway without touching the wall." That wasn't just physical change. That was emotional recovery. That was a return to dignity. DNA, why is this little seed so powerful? Let's break it down. Just 1 ounce, about 28 grams of sacha inchai gives you 8 to 9 grams of complete plant protein, high levels of omega-3 fatty acids, natural vitamin E, magnesium, zinc, and tryptophan, For seniors, every gram of protein matters, especially complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. That's what Sacha Inchai offers, but protein is just the beginning. Brain, think of Sacha Inchai as food for your nerves. The omega-3s in these seeds nourish your nerve membranes, the lining that keeps messages flowing smoothly from brain to muscle. That means better balance, faster reaction time, fewer jerky movements when you get cold or sit too long, reduced risk of falls. It also helps reduce joint inflammation, so your steps feel smoother, your mornings start easier, and your stairs don't feel like mountains. Herb more than just strength, it supports your mood and sleep. Tucked inside these little seeds is tryptophan, the amino acid your body uses to make serotonin and melatonin, hormones that regulate mood and sleep. That means fewer restless nights, fewer feelings of heaviness in the mind, and more mental clarity, especially in the afternoon slump when many seniors feel their energy crash. Female easy to digest, gentle on the system. One of the reasons I recommend Sacha Inchai so often is because it's non-allergenic, rarely causes food reactions. Easy to digest, won't bloat you like some nuts or beans. Light in taste, nutty, like a roasted peanut but smoother. I've seen patients with sensitive stomachs thrive on this. No gas, no bloating, no sluggishness. Fork how to use it daily without overthinking. Start with a tablespoon a day, then increase to a small handful if your body tolerates it well. Here are a few easy ways to add it into your meals. Breakfast, mix into oatmeal or eat with a banana. Lunch, sprinkle over quinoa salad or veggie soup. Snack, replace crackers or chips with dry-roasted Sacha Inchai seeds. Evening, add to a smoothie with almond milk, moringa and cocoa powder. One of my patients, Mr. Raymond, now calls it my 8 p.m. medicine. His way to snack smart and help his legs recover overnight. Direct hit, why I call this seed defensive nutrition. You may not see the results tomorrow or even next week, but trust me, as a doctor who's walked this road with hundreds, you'll start to notice. Your legs feel less shaky. Your joints ache less in the morning. Your mind feels more awake after meals. Your hands are steadier. Your fear of falling begins to fade. That is nutrition doing its job. Quietly, consistently, compassionately. Red, you deserve to feel steady again. I say this with care, you're not fragile. You're just undernourished for the body you live in now. And that's fixable. Strength doesn't always come from machines or supplements. Sometimes it comes from a seed the size of your fingernail. Sometimes it comes from a choice, a quiet, intentional choice, to believe that your body still has more to give. And Sacha Inchai, it's not a trend. It's a reminder that ancient food wisdom still holds the key to modern aging. Folded hands, let today be the first day you walk differently. When you pick up that spoonful of Sacha Inchai, let me start by asking you a simple question. When was the last time you felt truly energized for no reason at all? Not from coffee, not because of a good night's sleep. Just energy. Calm, quiet, lasting energy. If it's been a while, you're not alone. What many people over 60 don't realize is that fatigue isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about deficiency. Not a lack of calories, but a lack of cellular fuel. And this is where moringa comes in, a soft green powder I've come to call green gold for older adults. Seedling the miracle leaf from nature's medicine chest. Moringa is known around the world as the tree of life, and in many cultures, it's used to treat malnutrition, fatigue, anemia, and even slow recovery after illness. But in my practice, I've seen its impact most clearly in people who are starting to fade, not just physically, but emotionally. Because moringa doesn't shout, it doesn't give you a jolt like caffeine. Instead, it supports every part of you that's been struggling in silence. DNA, what's inside moringa that makes it so healing. Just 2 teaspoons a day give you. Complete plant-based protein, all 9 essential amino acids, calcium, iron, and magnesium, vitamins A, C, and K, potent antioxidants like quercetin and chlorogenic acid. In fact, 100 grams of moringa powder offers about 27 grams of protein. That's more than eggs. But more importantly, it includes leucine, isoleucine, and valine, 3 branch-chain amino acids that protect muscle and accelerate repair. This is critical after 60. Why? Because your body starts losing muscle mass faster than it can build it, unless you intervene. Stanley's story, from weakness to resilience. Stanley, 76, was a retired aircraft mechanic. Strong hands, strong heart. But after a hospitalization for pneumonia, he felt like he'd lost his engine. "I couldn't even lift my leg to get into the car," he told me. We rebuilt him slowly. A light exercise plan, protein-rich meals, and every morning a green smoothie with moringa, banana, almond milk, and a teaspoon of flaxseed oil. 2 weeks in, he stood up without help. 3 months later, he was walking around his backyard again, watering his garden, trimming hedges. "I thought I was done," he said, "but it turns out I just needed better fuel." Green Heart Moringa helps more than just muscles. This humble leaf supports the body in 4 major ways. 1, blood and oxygen. Iron helps make red blood cells. More red blood cells equals more oxygen delivered to muscles, equals less fatigue during daily activities. 2, bones and joints. Calcium and vitamin K strengthen bone matrix. This supports posture, balance, and lowers the risk of fractures. 3, skin, eyes, and immunity. Vitamin A and C promote collagen production, wound healing, and immune resilience. They also reduce morning stiffness and joint pain over time. 4, inflammation and oxidation. Moringa contains anti-inflammatory compounds that reduce swelling in joints and protect tissues from age-related damage. In short, moringa helps the whole system hum again. Person-male, easy to use, easy to love. Unlike some superfoods that require complicated recipes, moringa is simple. Stir into smoothies. Mix with oatmeal or warm cereal. Add to soups or salad dressings. Or simply dissolve in warm water with lemon and a drop of honey. If you're new to moringa, start with a ½ teaspoon per day, then increase slowly to 1–2 teaspoons. And always choose organic, pure moringa. No fillers, no flavorings, just the good stuff. Sunrise over mountains, my morning ritual, and why I still do it at 60. Each morning, I make myself a smoothie with 1 banana, 1 cup unsweetened almond milk, 1 teaspoon moringa powder, 1 teaspoon flaxseed oil, a pinch of cinnamon. It's not just about nutrition. It's about the message I send to my body. I care enough to prepare something healing. I'm choosing to support myself, quietly, gently. That smoothie has carried me through long clinic days, emotional conversations with patients, and even moments of personal doubt. Speech balloon patients tell me, "I feel lighter without losing weight. I sleep deeper. I'm not as stiff in the morning. I have energy in the afternoon, not just in the morning. My hands don't shake as much anymore." These are not wild claims. These are the quiet outcomes of quiet consistency. I often tell my patients this. At this stage of life, you don't need complicated, you need dependable. You need foods that understand your body, It's slower digestion, it's changing hormones, it's need for muscle without the heaviness. You need something simple but strong, and sometimes that thing is a humble block of tofu. Isn't tofu bland? I hear it all the time. Tofu, isn't that just soft and boring? I thought that was diet food for people in their 20s. I tried it once, didn't like the texture. To which I gently reply, don't underestimate softness. Some of the strongest things in life are also the quietest. And tofu. It's the most underestimated powerhouse in the world of aging nutrition. DNA, what's inside tofu? Let's break it down. In just 100 grams of firm tofu, you get 8 grams of complete protein, highly absorbable calcium, iron for red blood cell production, magnesium and phosphorus for muscle and bone function, and most importantly, isoflavones, plant-based compounds that support heart health, hormone balance, and bone density. For older adults, especially those managing cholesterol, blood pressure, or digestive sensitivity, tofu is a gift. Flexed biceps, why tofu is perfect for aging muscles. Muscle loss after 60 isn't dramatic, it's quiet and continuous. You don't even notice it until you struggle to open a jar. Your legs tremble halfway up the stairs. You get up from a chair and feel unsteady. Protein helps rebuild and preserve muscle. But not all protein is equal. Some, like red meat, comes with baggage, saturated fat, cholesterol, and digestive burden. Tofu delivers protein without the problems. It's gentle, lean, and remarkably easy to digest. Person-male tofu and the aging digestive system. Many of my patients complain of bloating, heaviness, or heartburn after eating meat. But when they switch to tofu, I feel lighter. I sleep better. My stomach doesn't fight me anymore. That's because tofu is low in fat, contains no cholesterol, and is easier to break down than animal protein. It gives your body what it needs without overloading your system. Beating heart isoflavones, the little compounds with big benefits. Isoflavones are plant-based compounds found in soy. And here's what the research shows. They lower LDL bad cholesterol. They support artery flexibility. They protect bone mineral density. In postmenopausal women, they reduce hot flashes. In men, they don't disrupt hormones. They actually help stabilize blood pressure and inflammation. So if you're a woman dealing with hormonal shifts, or a man concerned about your heart and joints, tofu might just be your new best friend. Old woman, a story from my clinic. Mrs. L and her tofu transformation. Mrs. L was 79, widowed, living alone, and completely uninterested in cooking. She came to see me because of high cholesterol and persistent fatigue. I asked about her meals. Mostly canned soup, toast, and sometimes a boiled egg. I introduced her to something I call the 3-ingredient tofu bowl. Sliced firm tofu, a dash of soy sauce, a sprinkle of garlic powder and sesame oil. Bake or pan-fry until crisp. Serve over greens or brown rice. She looked skeptical but promised to try. 3 months later, she walked into my office, smiling. I don't know what's in that tofu, doc, but I'm not as tired anymore, and I've even started walking again. Fork ways to make tofu tasty and enjoyable. Tofu doesn't have to be boring. It's a blank canvas, ready to absorb flavor and texture. Here are a few simple options. 1. Tofu stir-fry. Cut tofu into cubes. Pan-sear with olive oil, garlic, mushrooms, broccoli, and a dash of low-sodium soy sauce. 2. Tofu bake. Marinate in lemon juice, turmeric, and pepper. Bake until golden. Serve with quinoa and greens. 3. Tofu salad topper. Slice thin, bake until crispy, and add to salad like croutons. 4. Cold tofu snack. Chilled tofu slices. Add a drizzle of sesame oil and soy sauce. Top with roasted sesame seeds. Right arrow cooling, satisfying, and perfect for warm days. Tofu and the mind-body connection. Here's what I love most about tofu. It feeds your body, but also your mindset. Why? Because it's simple to prepare, affordable, gentle on your system, and gives you a sense of agency in your meals. Every time you choose tofu, you're choosing a food that says, I want to stay strong, I want to move freely, I want to take care of myself, gently, respectfully. Abacus tofu and blood sugar, a diabetic-friendly choice. For those with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, tofu is especially helpful. Low glycemic index equals no blood sugar spikes. High protein equals keeps you full. Low in fat equals supports weight stability. Many of my diabetic patients feel more balanced when they replace a few meat-heavy meals each week with tofu dishes. Direct hit the takeaway, tofu is not just a meat substitute. It's a strength builder, a heart protector, and a digestion-friendly friend for aging bodies. It's not flashy, it's not fancy, but it's reliable, and in this season of life, that may be what matters most. Folded hands don't underestimate what feels small. When you sit down to eat a warm bowl of tofu and greens, you're not just having dinner. You're telling your bones, I've got. Let me paint you a picture. It's a calm afternoon. You've just had lunch. You feel light, steady, and full, not stuffed or sleepy. You take a walk around your block. The breeze is cool, your legs feel strong, and your mind is clear. That image, it's not wishful thinking. It's what I've seen happen again and again. When older adults make one simple change, they start eating quinoa. Snow, the ancient fuel for modern longevity. Quinoa isn't new, it's old. So old, in fact, that it was considered sacred by the ancient Inca civilization in South America. They believed it gave their warriors sustained energy, strength, and clarity during long journeys through the mountains. Today, thousands of years later, we know why. Quinoa isn't a grain, technically. It's a pseudo-grain or seed that behaves like a grain. But unlike rice or wheat, quinoa is a complete protein, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair muscle. And that makes it a perfect ally for aging bodies. The case of Lucy and her garden comeback. Lucy, 80, was a retired librarian. She had sharp eyes, a gentle voice, and a deep love for her garden. But at her checkup, she told me, Doc, I get winded just bending over to water the roses. We looked at her diet, white bread, tea, crackers, and canned soup. No protein, no fiber, lots of sugar. I recommended a gentle overhaul, starting with breakfast, a bowl of warm quinoa cooked in almond milk, topped with banana slices and a sprinkle of hemp seeds. 2 weeks later, she returned with a grin. I worked in the yard for an hour yesterday, no breaks. It wasn't just fuel, it was recovery in action. DNA, what makes quinoa so powerful, one protein with purpose. About 8 grams of complete protein per cooked cup. Contains lysine, which is crucial for muscle repair, but missing in most grains. 2. Magnesium and potassium. Help muscles contract and relax smoothly. Reduce leg cramps and nighttime spasms. 3. Calcium. Keeps bones strong. Aids in muscle contraction and postural stability. 4. Iron. Boosts oxygen delivery to muscles and the brain. Helps reduce fatigue during daily activity. 5. Fiber. Regulates digestion. Slows sugar absorption, right arrow, no energy crash. All that in a seed smaller than a fingernail. Cooked rice balanced blood sugar equals balanced energy. One of quinoa's best features is its low to medium glycemic index. That means it. doesn't spike your blood sugar, gives steady energy, helps prevent that post-lunch crash so many older adults experience. For anyone managing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, quinoa is a gentle stabilizer. It supports glucose control, improves digestion, and nourishes without overloading. Male smooth movements, steady nerves. Magnesium, potassium, and calcium in quinoa also work on your nervous system. Soothe muscle tension, improve nerve signaling, help prevent trembling hands and unstable knees. Think of them as the team that keeps your movements smooth and your balance steady. And let's not forget the brain. Quinoa contains B vitamins like B6 and folate, zinc and iron. These nutrients support memory, mood, and mental clarity, especially in older adults. When your brain gets oxygen and nutrition, your day feels lighter. Tasks feel easier. Words come more easily. You feel more like yourself. Fork how to add quinoa to your day without fuss. Quinoa is easy to cook. Just follow a 2:1 water to quinoa ratio. Rinse quinoa under cold water. This removes bitterness. Bring to a boil. Cover and simmer for 15 minutes. Fluff with a fork and let it rest. Then use it however you like. Breakfast: cooked quinoa plus almond milk plus banana plus moringa powder. Right arrow a warm, complete breakfast bowl. Lunch: swap rice with quinoa. Serve with tofu or baked salmon and greens. Dinner: make a cold quinoa salad. Mix with spinach, roasted almonds, olive oil, and lemon juice. Female, the beauty of quinoa is in how it makes you feel. I once had a patient, Frank, 84, tell me this after a month of eating quinoa daily. Doc, I didn't expect anything to change, but I feel like I can keep going longer. Not just walking, but standing longer while cooking, sitting straighter at church, taking the stairs without panic. Sometimes we underestimate how small things can add up to a big shift. Pushpin for strength, blood sugar, nerves, and more, quinoa delivers. It's affordable, it's shelf-stable, it cooks in 15 minutes, and it works. Not because it's trendy, but because it speaks the language your body understands. It's not just nutrition. It's a gesture of trust in your body's ability to heal. Red every bowl is a step back toward freedom. Here's what I tell my patients. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need a personal trainer. You just need the right. Let's be honest. Eating healthy at this stage of life isn't about following trends. It's not about counting carbs or chasing diets. It's about this question: can I walk across the room with confidence? Can I get up from bed without groaning? Can I trust my body to carry me through the day? If the answer is not quite, then I want to help you change that, not with restriction, but with construction. Building your body is a house. And meals are your building materials. Think of your body as a house that's been lived in for 60, 70, maybe even 80 years. It's sturdy but a little weathered. Some floors creak, the roof may leak when it rains, and the wiring doesn't work quite like it used to. But the house is still yours, and it's still standing. What it needs is a repair crew, and each food you eat is one of those crew members. When you start combining the right ones, hemp seeds for protein, moringa for blood and tissue repair, quinoa for endurance, tofu for gentle strength, sacha inchai for nerve support, suddenly you're not just eating. You're rebuilding. Jigsaw how small pieces form a powerful whole. Let me walk you through a few real examples. Meals that I've shared with my patients that helped restore their energy, mood, and strength, sometimes within weeks. Bowl with spoon breakfast, the recovery bowl. 1 cup cooked quinoa, 1 banana sliced, 1 tablespoon hemp seeds, a half teaspoon moringa powder, splash of unsweetened almond milk, 1 teaspoon flaxseed oil, cinnamon optional, Why it works. Protein and omega-3s support muscle and nerve function. Moringa and flax help reduce inflammation and improve joint mobility. Quinoa provides steady, long-lasting energy. Patients say they feel full but light, and they don't crash mid-morning anymore. Green salad lunch, tofu and greens power bowl. Firm tofu, cubed and baked or pan-seared. 2 cups mixed greens. 1 tablespoon roasted sacha inchai. Olive oil plus lemon juice dressing. Optional. Cooked quinoa or sweet potato cubes. Why it works. Complete protein from tofu and sacha incha. Heart-healthy fats from olive oil and incha. Leafy greens support digestion and blood sugar control. Easy to digest, quick to prepare, and deeply satisfying. One of my patients, 73, used to nap after lunch. Now she walks her dog. Pot of food dinner, comfort soup with a healing twist. Vegetable broth with chopped carrots, zucchini, and spinach. Add a half teaspoon moringa powder before serving. Side of whole grain toast or a scoop of brown rice. Sprinkle hemp seeds on top. Why it works. Light on digestion in the evening. Promotes better sleep and overnight muscle repair. Warm and soothing for the nervous system. One elderly gentleman told me this became his favorite nightly ritual. Brain meals aren't just physical, they're neurological. Here's something most people forget. When you eat foods that restore your gut, blood flow, and nerves, you also restore confidence. You walk into your kitchen and think, I can make this, I can take care of myself. That feeling spills into everything. You speak up more, you sit taller, you trust your legs again. You're not waiting for something to break, you're actively maintaining the house you live in. Counterclockwise arrows button weekly meal rhythms. No strict plan, just smart balance. You don't need a rigid plan, you need a rhythm. Here, that's what I often suggest to my patients. Protein at every meal, whether it's tofu, quinoa, hemp seeds, or a combination. Healthy fat once a day, sacha inchai, flaxseed oil, olive oil. Green every day, moringa, spinach, kale, or broccoli. Fiber in the evening, helps with overnight digestion and sleep. Hydration with intention, herbal teas, lemon water, or warm broths. This rhythm allows variety, but also predictability. Your body thrives on both. Open book The Story of Marcia, 73 and strong again. Marcia came to me with joint pain, low energy, and an anxiety she couldn't quite explain. I feel like I'm losing pieces of myself, she said. We didn't start with medicine. We started with moringa smoothies in the morning, quinoa bowls for lunch, sacha inchai instead of crackers at night. 6 weeks in, she returned with a journal. In it, she had written, "My mind is clearer. My knees don't groan. I feel hopeful again." That's what food can do, not cure, but remind you that healing is still available. So, what's your next move? You don't have to change everything overnight, but ask yourself, can I swap toast for quinoa this week? Can I try moringa in my smoothie just once? Can I keep roasted tofu in the fridge for a quick lunch? Can I choose seeds instead of crackers just one night? These aren't sacrifices. These are investments. Each bite is a brick rebuilding strength, confidence, and calm. Read from the clinic to your kitchen, why this matters. Every patient I've worked with who reclaimed their strength did it through small, repeated choices. Not through diets, not through willpower, but through something deeper. I want to feel like myself again, and I'm willing to care enough to try. And when they do, the change is undeniable. Their legs feel lighter, their balance steadier, their minds sharper. They walk with dignity again. Have you ever stood up too quickly and felt a wave of dizziness? Or gone to reach for something and your hand trembled? Or eaten a full meal only to feel like you got no energy from it? It's not all in your head. It's not just age. What you're feeling is the subtle breakdown of communication inside your body. But here's the truth I wish more people knew. Your body doesn't age all at once. It starts to disconnect in small, invisible ways. And food done right can help reconnect it. Counterclockwise arrows button the triangle of strength: muscle, nerve, digestion. If I could draw you a map of the human body, it would look less like a flowchart and more like a web. At the center of that web, one, muscles. They're not just for movement. They regulate blood sugar, protect your joints, and even influence your mood. Two, nerves. They send messages from your brain to your hands, your feet, your heart, and back again. Three, digestive system. It's not just a pipe. It's a factory that breaks down, absorbs, and distributes everything your body needs to function. Each one depends on the other two. So if your gut isn't absorbing nutrients, your nerves don't fire properly. If your nerves are damaged, your muscles don't move well. If your muscles are weak, digestion slows down and blood sugar spikes. It's a closed loop, and it can either work beautifully or break down silently. DNA, what throws the system off? A few things I see often in my older patients. Skipping protein, right arrow, loss of muscle. Poor fat intake, right arrow, poor nerve function. Low hydration, slowed digestion, memory fog. Chronic inflammation, right arrow, miscommunication between systems. Sedentary lifestyle, weaker nerve muscle signals. Add those together and you get what many people call aging, but what is often just underfueling and underconnecting. Flexed biceps, William's story, and the reset that changed everything. William, 79, used to be a mechanical engineer. Precise, organized, thoughtful. But when he came to see me, he was frustrated. I eat 3 times a day, doc, but I feel like I'm fading. My legs are weak, my memory off, and I can't trust my hands. We didn't overhaul his life. We rebuilt his network. Breakfast: quinoa plus moringa plus flax oil smoothie. Lunch: tofu and spinach, salad with olive oil dressing. Evening: sacha inchai instead of crackers. Water with a splash of lemon between meals. A 10-minute morning stretch under sunlight. 2 weeks in, he was walking more. By week 6, he said, "I don't feel like a machine that's breaking down. I feel like a system coming back online." Herb, the key nutrients that reconnect the web. A magnesium, found in hemp seeds, moringa, quinoa, helps nerves fire correctly, prevents cramps and twitching. Omega-3s, in sacha inchai. Flaxseed oil, nourishes nerve linings, reduces joint inflammation. B vitamins, in quinoa, moringa, tofu, vital for memory, digestion, and nerve speed. Blue circle, complete protein, found in quinoa, tofu, sacha inchai. Hemp, rebuilds muscle tissue, supports nerve-muscle communication. When you eat these foods consistently, you're not just giving your body fuel. You're retraining it to operate as a whole again. Person male, one symptom, many roots. Let me explain with an example. You say, "I feel off balance." That might be your inner ear vestibular system, your nerve conduction, weak leg muscles, dehydration, iron deficiency, low blood sugar, stiff joints in your feet. It's rarely just one thing. That's why a holistic food plan works better than chasing individual symptoms. When you support the whole system, the body finds its balance again. Speech balloon, what patients tell me once they reconnect. "I didn't realize how foggy I was until I wasn't anymore. My body feels lighter. I don't panic when I go upstairs. I trust my legs again. I feel like I woke up from a slow fade. They didn't take magic pills. They changed how they fed their system. Bowl with spoon practical ways to eat for your whole body network. Morning reset smoothie. Almond milk. 1 banana. 1 teaspoon moringa. 1 tablespoon hemp seeds. 1 teaspoon flaxseed oil. Pinch of cinnamon. Right arrow anti-inflammatory. Nerve supportive, full of muscle-repairing protein. Lunch connection plate. Baked tofu. Steamed broccoli. Roasted sweet potato. Handful of roasted sacha inchai. Olive oil dress. Nourishes gut, muscles, nerves. And gives long energy. Evening calm and repair soup. Vegetable broth. Chopped greens, carrots. A half TSP moringa stirred in. A sprinkle of hemp seeds. Side of whole grain bread. A soothing, fiber-rich. Supports sleep and overnight healing. Spider, when you eat like this, you do more than feed cells, you restore connection. Your gut digests better. Your nerves transmit faster, your muscles respond smoother. Your brain calms down, your emotions lift. It doesn't happen in one day. Let's pause, forget the charts, forget the science. Let's talk about something personal. Let's talk about you. Speech balloon, am I still worth taking care of? You might not say it out loud, but I know the question lives in many people I work with. I'm getting older, what's the point? Is it too late? My body's not what it used to be. Is there still time to change? And to every one of those doubts, I say, yes, you're still worth it. Not because you can move like you used to. Not because you're trying to look younger, but because you are still here, still breathing, still able to choose, still able to heal, if not fully, then meaningfully. I once treated a woman named Mildred. She was 86. Alone, quiet. Tired, she came to my clinic not because of pain, but because of something harder to treat, hopelessness. I eat what I can, she said softly. Mostly crackers, instant soup, whatever's easy. I didn't give her a prescription. I gave her a small brown bag. Inside it was a cup of quinoa, a spoonful of moringa, a simple smoothie recipe handwritten by me. I looked her in the eyes and said, "This is not about food. This is about reminding your body that you still want to be here." 3 weeks later, she came back, not walking faster, not with glowing skin, but with a straighter spine. And this sentence, "I don't feel like a burden anymore. I feel alive again." That's what one small choice done with intention can create. Male eating well is not discipline, it's devotion. We often confuse the two. Discipline says, you must. Devotion says, you're worth it. Eating a warm quinoa bowl in the morning is not a chore. It's a blessing you give to your legs. Sprinkling hemp seeds into yogurt isn't a task. It's a whisper to your muscles. I've got you. Blending moringa into your smoothie isn't routine. It's a promise to your bones. You're still strong. When you begin to see food as a quiet act of respect for your body, everything shifts. Candle, what if meals were moments of prayer? Not in the religious sense, but in the sacred one. What if each bite said, "Thank you, body, for carrying me this far. Let this food become something that heals me. I may be older, but I am still becoming." What if your meals weren't about restriction, but about relationship? What if every spoonful was your way of saying, "I still love this life. I still choose to care"? Brain, the deepest transformation is emotional. When my patients begin to nourish themselves, not out of fear but out of reverence, something changes. They walk differently. They talk with more warmth. They look in the mirror and see someone worthy of love, not someone falling apart. That's what this entire series has been about. Not superfoods, not recipes, but helping you remember. You're still the main character of your story, and it's not over yet. Son, aging is not decline, it's deepening. You've been strong, you've been young, you've seen and done things. Now, you get to be wise, you get to care deeply. You get to nurture yourself the way you once nurtured others. The power in that is immense. Because when you choose to feed yourself well, you're not fighting age, you're partnering with it. You're saying, let's do this next chapter with grace. Let's walk slower but walk stronger. Let's eat not to be young, but to be whole. Read my final prescription to you. Don't start with perfection, start with presence. 1 cup of quinoa, 1 scoop of moringa, 1 spoon of sacha incha, 1 bite of tofu, 1 moment where you tell your body